How do I know if I'm idolizing the person that I'm in a relationship with?
More than likely, most of us at some point have idolized someone we dated. You say, well, how do you know that? That's not true. That's not me. When you start finding yourself putting that person before your own boundaries, or your resistance to creating boundaries because you don't want that person not to like you, when you find yourself willing to go past the wisdom and counsel of people you trusted for years for a particular individual, you gotta check yourself.
When we think about idols, when we think about false gods, we want to please them, not typically out of a sense of love, but out of a sense of fear of rejection, fear of punishment. It's fear-based, or I don't want to lose them. I don't want something bad to happen to me. And that takes some internal work, right? I could treat my wife the same way and it looks the same on the outside, but internally I'm idolizing her or I'm loving her, right? Those can look the same. So that takes some introspection, I think, but do that work and see, why am I treating my spouse, my boyfriend, my girlfriend? Am I afraid that they'll leave me? Do I have to keep them happy so that my life is good?
But the way they start to orient their lives around the person. And a lot of times what I think is even like subtly more sinister than it is, it's not because they've necessarily idolized the person so much as they've idolized the idea of being married or being in relationship or having another person, that it's like, all right, I've been wanting this thing so bad and now you're sitting in that place, so I have to do whatever I can to make it work because my dream is on the verge of coming true. It looks like worship.
You made something out of when you've taken a good thing and have made it God. A boyfriend or a girlfriend is a good thing. That's an awesome thing, a thing worth getting. But I think you've made it a God when you will, again, as Keller's, I was just kind of stealing this from Keller in his book, Counterfeit God, when you're willing to destroy everything else around you to have it, meaning, I will lose relationships to have this girlfriend. I will disrespect their family, my family, to have this boyfriend. Or that person or that item asks you to destroy everything around you.
Sometimes that looks like isolation from community. And so a lot of times I'll point them towards the people around. I'm like, hey, I would ask, who are your 5 closest people? Maybe a parent, a good friend, a mentor. And I'm just like, what would they attest about your relationship with this person and how well you're stewarding it? Because their voice and perspective is probably going to be more helpful than your own if you're in the midst of it.
When you have God in the proper place, meaning, the Lord King of your life, everything else tends to fall in its proper place. That whole idea of like, you'll hear people say, especially girls a lot of times will say, I want someone who loves God more than me. Well, I get what you're saying, but actually what you're saying is, I want someone who loves God and I fall in my right place in their life. At the end of the day, we're not wired to necessarily love God with all of our being and everything else is just dead to it. No, we strive to love God, and in striving to love God, those relationships will fall in their proper place.